Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Big Brother Mono podcast. If you haven't watched the first two, or like the doesn't really count episode 0, essentially I guess it's weekly now, but we'll see. We're gonna have someone from my life, and we're gonna have an honest to glob conversation and check in with each other and talk about what we've been doing. And today I have one of my favorite people to see at PAX East every year. Gonna let them introduce themselves as usual.
Hey
WabbaPlays.
there. Well, hello. This is awesome. I saw that you were doing something like this. I saw your episode 0, or your preamble, as you put it.
My preamble.
And I was like, this is like a really cool idea. And so I'm happy that I get to be a part of it.
No, I'm happy you get to be a part of it too, because quite honestly, I don't know if you understood this or not, but you kind of like pushed me back into trying to do something with content. Because, well, we were hanging out at PAX.
Yeah.
We were hanging out at PAX East that day because I gave you the hat you're wearing on your head right now.
That's right. XP Up Apparel. Let's go. It's my favorite hat I have right now.
And you were like talking about the Jimmy Fund, right? It's the Jimmy Fund. You guys do like and you're like, oh yeah, well, we have to get you on board. You can be part of our team. You can raise money for our team. We win every year. Now we're gonna get even better. And I was like, well, crap. Now I actually have to have something to.
It's true. You're contractually obligated.
Right.
We're in too deep.
I can't just put my name on the project and give myself an A. I gotta have content out there.
Well, that's how I feel sometimes with Pez, because I always say I'm the best Brent Gretzky, and he's Wayne, and together we break all the records. So, for those who don't know, so I've been working with Jimmy Fund. I know we're kind of midway through intro, but every September there's a drive called Quest to Defy Cancer, and every year it's becoming more and more relevant and pointed. As you get older, people get impacted, and this is a great way to actually support it. And so we raise money through streaming. That's what Quest to Defy Cancer is. It's like the arm of the Jimmy Fund. They're so awesome, the folks we work with. So I got involved initially with Pez and my buddy Pez, who I co-host at 3 Dads in a Console, which I'm sure we'll talk about, and another good buddy who I met through Boston Twitch. His name's Ride or Die. His wife is amazing, Dire. And then also we got wrapped up with another person, a hockey person. He goes by Endless Days, and he's another hockey guy we met through the Jimmy Fund. So we are ever expanding. I think Hike Shadow is going to be a part of it too, who just boosted my Discord. Let's go. Now you're going to be a part of it. So
that's right. And we technically met through NHL. Because you put one of my silly NHL 22 or something highlights in one of your videos.
Yeah, it was something I started doing. I started perusing hashtag NHL 22 or whatever year it was, and putting together these top 10 clips, and it was great. Well, the reason I did it is because EA doesn't. They're like, hey, you can do play of the month, and we're gonna do it every third month, maybe. So I started doing it weekly, and it was a great way to highlight other people's stuff. And it was a lot of fun, and that's how it was I'm glad, because that's how I met you and a few other folks who I still talk to.
And what's wild is I never try to stream it or make content per se. It was just in a weird few month period where out of boredom I was just that was kind of cool. I'll put it on Twitter, and it just happened to catch your eye. It was the goal off the face off, I think.
Yeah. Well, because the top 10 or 3 goals they do or whatever through EA, they're good. But right. I feel we've seen them. I like going for the weird ones, and also, again, there's no winner contest or anything. It's just a cool way to showcase something, and I don't know. Not that I'm a huge channel or creator, but I think it's really flattering when someone recognizes your stuff, and I like to kind of pass that along. So it was a fun way to do that.
Yeah, that was awesome. That vindicated me in a way, because I was like, damn, someone was watching that. It was as cool as I thought it was. But then we ended up following each other from there. I was doing the brand more heavily than I am now, the XP Up Apparel brand. And the first of 2 packs I spent just promoting myself more than enjoying the weekend. I was like, all right, well, I gotta meet these guys for real. You Pez, and it was just you and Pez the first year. I didn't meet Court till this past year, but
Yeah, he wasn't able to travel the first year.
right.
Also too, we weren't like it's weird. So you met us at like a weird time, like not like when we were beginning, but like when we were kind of like moving into what I would call like a little more like legitimate what we do through Three Dads and a Console.
Right on.
So again, for folks, so I'm part of in addition to individual content creation, I actually pride myself more of what I'm doing with Three Dads and a Console. I do it with someone. He's a Boston area. He's a big degenerate. Call him Pez, and then Court is our buddy in Canada, and we all bonded through the Bruins and video games. That's actually how I met Court. Court, our new Pez, through Days of Yore, and if you're familiar with Days of Yore, you know that he is a degenerate. I'm not wrong. Every time they would win a playoff game, he would post this guy in a Bruins jersey, like this cartoon with like 2 middle fingers in the air.
Oh my gosh!
Until they hit 16. They did that in 2011 when he was there. But yeah, the first year we met, we went and we got denied media badges. And that's what it is. So what we were doing was like this like guerrilla style like interviews with people. We would like go and be like, hey, like we'd shove my GoPro in their face and like talk to them, and it was great. We got some good content out of it. And that's when you met us, and it was really cool. And it was, for me, it was very flattering that people like me.
Yeah. Well, I had the idea to do those Red Sox hats that were like the Red Sox logo per se, but it was EXP instead of the B.
It's right there on my way down to the basement, so I can keep my hats.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with 2 of them because I like changed like something small on one. I was like, well, I have these now, and like I thought of you and how you were gonna be there. I'm like, all right, well, he's from the area, so like they're like cool dudes. Like these are the people they were meant for. Because I have 2. I'm gonna meet the 2 of them.
It's cool, and I remember you gave them to us in front of a bunch of Pez's friends, and I'm like, man, people are giving me stuff in front of people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool now.
You get the rub.
No, and I'm glad we got to hang out this year, especially because we got media badges this year.
Right.
Again, Court got a lot of feedback from creators in Canada, which Canada is a whole different kind of like market. And Court's an excellent creator, and we've been given a lot of like different opportunities as well through some of his contacts up there. And they gave us the advice to make a website. And I can't credit exactly who said that, but I'm sure he can. So I'm not going to take a stab at it. But again, there's been a lot of people that have supported us just giving us advice. And once we started doing the website and making content through there, in addition to YouTube, that's when we started to get other opportunities, which is interesting. Because I would think that video content would be more than like print.
Right.
But it actually, at least for our experience, it helps. And this year we got approved for media, and that was crazy. I talked about it so much, and I don't want to seem like I was like bragging, but it's like, damn, like I tried doing this on my own. So like when I was doing Twitch, I was doing really well during COVID. Again, just numbers wise, not life. Again, awful time, but people were stuck at home.
Right.
So my numbers were like popping off. Very, very good, to the point where I applied for partner. Didn't make it. And that's not really a focus anymore. But my numbers were good enough, and then they changed the goalposts, so I couldn't do it by myself. I know, right? But then it's kind of like reinvigorated my passion for creation, working with these guys, and then we, got that, and then we got access to, well, Pez had to pick Court up from the airport, so I got to go in early and like walk around, which was crazy. And then we got to like book interviews with people.
Yeah. You guys were like on a schedule.
It was wild. yeah. That's why I'm like, hey, like we have to like go talk. It was wild. So one of them was actually like the Killer Clowns. We got to like talk to like 2 of the people like involved with the video game, and we got to meet one of the Kyoto brothers who created the actual property.
That's still wild to me that you like...
We didn't record that because it was just one of those things. Like I try to through audio, but like also too, it's like you just kind of want to like be in the moment sometimes at these things. It's so tough not to.
Yeah.
But we actually had 2 outlets, other like creators way bigger than us, reach out asking to use our interview.
Oh,
and we said yes, and they credited
us.
That's awesome. Really cool.
That's so sick. Yeah, hell yeah.
We also had one person who asked for the raw footage, and we're like, no. We were trying to think of a polite way, because that's such a. Again, we've never been had exclusive access to anything like that. But
Hmm.
it was a really cool experience. And what made it really cool too was I didn't have to like wait in lines for things I wanted to play, and that let me kind of explore more and also be able to do things like hang out with you and know kind of when I had to be somewhere, because I feel like last year you got to get in line, you got to be first,
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
This year it's like, yeah, you want to go like wait in the Dunkin' line and play a game and get
Play,
$50 worth of
play,
Dunkin'.
play dodgeball
Hell yeah.
against the touch screen. Yeah.
So that it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad. I don't know. It was a really cool event for many reasons.
You might have put Duncan out of business that weekend.
Don't worry. The amount that we spend there
No, yeah, I
typically.
mean actually same. But
My daughter loves Dunkin' so much. Her Valentine this year was her in a Dunkin' Donuts sweatshirt. And I like giving a lollipop or whatever. So we gave one to the manager there because whenever we go, we like don't pay. She just like gives my daughter a bunch of stuff, so I
right,
feel
right.
compelled to buy something else because I'm like, but her picture's up in her Valentine is up in the Dunkin' in the front,
That's
which is
awesome.
very funny. And she was wearing a Dunkin' Donut sweatshirt for it. We didn't even realize. So yeah, we the debt is not quite yet settled. We're not even.
That's fair. That's fair. I spend a lot of money on Dunkin',
Mhm.
especially because like the store is like shares a wall with one, so
Oh yeah,
like I just gotta pull up the phone, set it through, peek around the corner. I don't even have to leave.
tough not to down there. I know.
Right, right. I think the worst about California was just how far I had to go to get Dunkin' if I wanted it.
I didn't even know they had it over there.
There
But
was like one in San Diego that I went to, and then there was one that was kind of closer that I never made it to because it was still quite a trip. But I just happened to go to like the San Diego Zoo, and we passed it, and I was like, I have to stop there, right? Like it's been a
yeah,
year. Like
that's why I can't imagine that. It's funny. A lot of like the Canadians who come over are like, oh, like paying my dues, and they're like at Dunkin' Donuts because they're all about like Timmy Hortons, which I've never had, but
oh, there used to be a
they
Timmy
have hockey
Hortons kind of
cards.
near me.
I think yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
No, it's like a honeydew or some crap now.
Yeah, that's wild that you said that, and I knew exactly where that was. So,
Wait, do you
yeah, I'm,
actually?
I'm familiar with Rhode Island.
That's
It was in
crazy.
it off exit, for the former exit 18.
Okay, yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you off channel, but yeah,
That's so.
I never got to it at the time.
Do you also, because like this is also like a Cranston-ish area thing. There's like the Dunkin' Donuts that's like looks like it's two, except like it's just two like entrances to one big Dunkin'.
I didn't
But
know that one.
oh, because like
Is it?
there's like that meme like this is the most New England thing I've ever seen, and I'm like a Dunkin' Donuts right next to a Dunkin' Donuts, and like my
Yeah,
friends in California would show me that because they get sick of hearing me talk about how I never get
yeah,
it, and
the dunk across the street from the gas station with a dunk.
I'm gonna be real with you. I know where that is, and that's one big Dunkin'. like I've been there.
Well, I stopped. I do a lot of like reselling too, and I had to stop giving people a Dunkin' Donuts as a place to meet because they would get to one within like a 3 mile radius and be like, "I'm at the one you gave me." I'm like, "No, you're not." So now I have to go drive.
No, you're not, because I'm at the one I
Yeah,
gave you, and you're not here.
exactly. I'm like, "Here are the coordinates," and they're like, "Oh, I'm not at that one." I know you're not at that one because I don't see you. But
Oh my god! Every now and then I'll like throw something I don't need anymore on like Facebook Marketplace or like something like that, and I just have people meet me at the store. It's pretty funny.
oh god. So yeah, that I mean you're at a central place, but the funny part is like to do that, someone has to go. They have to drive to the lot. They have to pay for parking,
Yeah,
and hopefully you still. That's really funny. That's a lot of extra steps.
yeah.
Granted, it is more or less charity, but yeah, I'm usually the person that picks that stuff. I actually recently I got a free TiVo, right? Like in the year of our Lord 2024.
Right, right,
And I
right.
got it for free, and I ended up selling it for over 100 to somebody. I don't know. I would say half an hour away on eBay. Dude could have just driven and gotten it initially, but instead he paid a chump like me for
Right.
that hell of a finder's fee. But yeah, a lot of what I do now. So, and I do a lot of content creation. We have a weekly podcast, and it's nice because we get to talk about like video games, like from like a parent perspective, which one didn't really apply to me, 5 years ago.
Right.
But two, not a lot of people are like doing, or like it's kind of like an interesting niche where like we don't confine ourselves to that. Like we don't do news. If you want news, like we'll talk about it a little bit, but we're not just gonna read it because like there are better outlets for that.
Oh,
Instead, we'll just like fart around and talk about like whatever like kind of going on, things that maybe other parents or just other people in general might be able to relate to, and then we'll talk a little bit about video games and also a little bit about the Bruins depending on how they're doing. But yeah, it's been really cool. We actually talking since we were talking about PAX, so Court's father played for the Bruins,
right.
so he was able to get us to go to the alumni box, which was such a crazy experience. And he told me, all right, there's 2 rules. Like 1, don't drink too much. Fine. And 2, he's like, you have to be cool, which like that's never been a word someone's used to describe me. So I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, there's gonna be people there you look up to. You can't like bug them. He's like, which is fair because I'm like you're guest somewhere. You don't
Right.
you don't want to go there and like kind of like be a bad you don't want to be a bad reflection of the person who brought you.
Yes,
Which I
that makes total
respect
sense.
as much as I'm kind of like, being silly about it. Like, that's fair. So, which is good that I'm glad he told me because we go in and there's like people who I recognize and some I don't but like, what is it? Johnny Busick's just like posting up in the middle between like where our seats were in the bar. So I'm like walking by like someone I have an autograph stick from him. Like,
Yeah. Just like,
Jerry
act like you've
Cheevers
been
was
there,
there.
act like you've been there,
Yeah,
act like you've been
it
there.
was
And you walk
crazy.
away.
And then like told me like Ken Linsman, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like there are some players like you like that you like watch," because I started very late in hockey, but it was really cool experience to the point where like they had like ginger ales, and I was like going to the person that was doing the bar. I'm like, "Excuse me, can I take these? I just want," and she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, I just want to make sure they're not like someone's." Like God forbid I go there and I start drinking the drinks of like the regular, former player who's been there. And I
Right.
was like, I tried very hard. There were
One
some
of
people who did not,
you're like
but
enjoying yourself, and you just hear like your idol's voice, like, "Hey, who drank all the ginger ale?"
I know, right? Like that's like, and but
You
it
just
was
like let
funny
out like a
because
burp as you like try to hide the kid.
I was all about the free stuff. They had like Sal's Pizza. They had like the chicken fingers that you can get at the garden. And I realized most of my pictures when I got there had chicken fingers in it. That's like it's like all this stuff, all this experience, and like that's what I was like stoked about
I
was
think I
going to the
remember
ginger
seeing
bar.
like you post something like that. Like I actually just came for the chicken.
It was unreal, but it was a lot of fun. It was an excellent experience. I'm very thankful. The next PAX is going to be during I think it's May, which should be Red Sox season. So we're gonna try to go, see what's going on there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I like hanging out with them. And again, we've been very fortunate to like have like all these different things. It's crazy. It's great. Talk about the Red Sox. The Jimmy Fund actually had an event at Fenway.
Oh really?
So if you, I showed up late. But they invited us to go, me and my family. And so I invited my father-in-law too, because it was my daughter's first game and he's a big baseball fan. So that was really cool that they had a section for all of us. There were people, they did some awards. There were other content creators. There were other people who raised money, like not video game people. There are some cancer survivors and people who, were currently or had previously gone through treatment. And it was at oh God, I should know what it is. It's the Vineyard Vines Club. Do you know where that is in Fenway?
No,
It's
honestly.
if you I didn't either. You go to the Green Monster, you take a left, and you walk on the roof.
Huh.
And past the roof and past like the units up there that like heat and cool is this really nice area with a chicken finger buffet. See how there's a
Chicken,
trend?
chicken
That's all you
finger
need.
buffet.
But that was really cool.
It's all about
Right.
chicken fingers.
That's
Everything
that's
boils
all I
down to it.
need.
I was
But
actually
yeah, it's
just
cool.
telling my buddies a story yesterday about how we the band I just joined started recording this music on St. Patrick's Day. And like one of the dude's wife was like, "Oh yeah, I'm ordering cellos. We're getting corned beef and cabbage. If anybody else wants something." And all 4 of us degenerates wanted chicken fingers and fries,
Let's
which
go.
changed her order into chicken fingers. And so she had to be the one to call and pick up 6 orders of. They're probably like, this woman has like 5 kids. Just like, nope, just her husband's band.
That's did you finally you don't have to share it, but did you guys finally decide on a name? Or is that still pending?
I think so. All right. So listen, if they hear this and this puts a fire under their ass, that's even better.
Let's
But no,
go.
no. But I think we decided on something. Um, 3 days had passed since we all said we liked it, and then the singer just blurted out another idea. And she was like, "Oh, I just watched Scott Pilgrim and I thought it sounded cool." And no one responded to her. So I think we're just gonna like ignore that blip in the radar and
Oh
hopefully
no!
keep the thing we all agreed on.
I love how it's like we're good, and then it's like, well, but one more thing. Like,
So like this has happened multiple times where I've like gone to bed thinking like we thought of something. Days have passed and then they just started discussing more ideas.
you guys need a project manager.
You know, maybe. But I think we got it.
That's awesome.
Um I've recorded my bass lines on 3 of the 5 songs, so it's chugging along. It's
Good.
chugging along.
Want it on Spotify soon.
Yeah, I do too.
Throw it on my stream playlist.
When I
You
first
can be with all
joined,
the J-pop.
yeah, that's fine with me. She just went to like the Miku concert recently.
Wait, who? Well, your singer?
Yeah,
I was there too.
were you really? Yeah.
Yeah, in Boston.
Yep, she was at that. She was sending us like pictures and videos, and she's like a whole 4 feet tall. So it was kind of funny to see from her.
That's wild. Where was she sitting?
I'm not sure, but
I was over by the way left, so I had an aisle next to me, and then the two people in front of me, like I was like right on like the farthest left, which is good because I didn't want to be near all the jumping people.
right.
Which didn't matter, which was fine. And then the two people in front of me didn't show up, so I had like a clear view the whole time. That
It
was
goes.
wild. Like, what were her impressions of it? Did she share it?
Oh yeah,
Like,
she sent pictures and like some videos and like it looked like a lot of fun. Honestly, it looked like
dude, it was insane. I want to bring my kid next year.
that'd be cool.
It was the weirdest mix because what I wanted to do was like because you had to wait in line, which by the way went around a Boston block
Oh, I can imagine.
to get in because merch lines are wild. But I want to be like, what are you all nerds here for? And they're like, oh god, that sounds gross. Just kidding, I'm here too. I was wearing a Boston Bruins hoodie.
Oh yeah, what do you?
I just didn't want to get anyone mad, but like, like there because I didn't look like I was going. I'm older than the demo, but
Yeah,
actually that's not true. I was listening to Miku before half these kids were alive. This is my music, okay?
There you go.
Like, what am I talking about? I'm not the demographic, dude. These Zoomers don't have money to. No, I'm the demographic, okay?
Yeah, they're at your
You're the
concert.
guest.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was cool to see, like,
We're welcoming you here.
Yeah. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't hear American music until I was a man. I only listen. That's part of when my daughter was growing up. My wife said you can't watch anime with her in the room because we need her speaking like English. Like she's struggling with
Oh,
she's trying to learn English. You can't like throw another language in the mix because she's gonna pick that up. But yeah, it's cool. My daughter knows who Miko is now. That concert slapped. So there was Miku drama, Miku concert drama.
excuse me.
So in the past, oh god, if you aren't like a weeb, what I'm about to say is gonna like you're gonna be like, okay, who cares? Didn't ask. But if you are a weeb, you're gonna understand why this is a big deal. So there used to be the Miku's not real, allegedly.
What?
Yeah. What? So I mean, technically it's Saki Fujita's voice, but like let's say okay. Anyway, so Miku performs on a hologram, or she's a hologram, like Tupac. But there was a small film, and it would create a very different experience with the hologram, and it would create like more depth, and she could go around like to all angles of the stage. This year they opted away from that, and people didn't find out until the first show in Vancouver, which Get Wrecked Vancouver. That's what you get. That it's a screen. So people are like, oh, I'm just watching YouTube, like, I had to pay for it, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. I wanted to go. It was a concert I had tickets to see at House of Blues in Boston, and then COVID happened. Again, I was very disappointed at the time.
Right.
More issues came, so became small issue, but at the time I remember being very upset. And the fact that it's back was like such a big deal. And I was like, you know what, I'm going anyway. Like, what do I care? And that concert slapped. The energy was so great. People had their glow sticks. People were singing along, and the hologram was very good. The first song which is actually I heard Anamanaguchi play it too, talking about Scott Pilgrim. Because they wrote the song,
Right.
the Miku song, so they had Miku as a Scott Pilgrim sprite singing it, which so I've seen it performed twice.
That's awesome.
And then the second song, the character model was more detailed, so they kind of like punk you with the first one, and it's like, oh wow, this is so. But yeah, it was great. Their dads bringing their kids, had no idea what was going on, like older than me.
I would
Great
love
mix
to
of
see
people.
like a live Gorillas performance.
That's
So like
they're still performing, aren't they?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, if you need a concert buddy, if they ever come to Rhode Island, let me know,
Oh yeah.
because that is one of my fave. I used to listen to them all the time
I
in
would
high school.
love to catch one of those.
Oh, they just finished performing everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Sounds right.
Oh, they were in Boston, last October. Okay, well, guess
Last
what? Right?
last October.
Yeah, right. Just missed it. Damn.
Crap.
Well, that means they'll be back because if they pick Boston, so
That's true. Yeah,
But yeah,
people usually skip over around with Boston right there, but
I used to go to what was it? I don't know if it's still around or a different name, Lupo's.
so they call it like the Strand now, I think.
What? Ew, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I get
The Strand?
something. I could be. Maybe I'm just combining two stores, but I'm
Like-
pretty sure like I left, and then while I was gone and wasn't here to stop them, they changed the name. And
The Strand Ballroom?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like what you? Never mind. Like what you can catch by using the toilet? Like what is this?
Yeah.
What are these artists? What have they done?
Like I said, you know, I leave for a few years, and the world starts ending, and the Strand becomes a thing. Yeah.
Which perfect what Rocky Horror Picture so but oh, I was like the Buena Vista Social Orchestra, not club. This is the weirdest line. Do they not do anything here anymore? Yeah, that Lupo's used to be the spot.
Yeah.
Like everything was there. I saw like Flowbots there. Like that used to be like such like a. This was before like, I mean, you could have big groups perform in that small venue.
I had the pleasure of opening for Real Big Fish in that building when it was
That's
Lupo's. So yeah, it was Real Big Fish, Five Iron Frenzy, and I think there was somebody else there that I'm forgetting. But like so, but they wanted no local bands or anything. And the promoter was essentially like, yeah, no one's buying tickets to this crap. I'm letting this band play if they can sell your tickets. And we sold all of them.
That's awesome.
Like, and they, I guess they still kind of fought back, and the guy was like, no, they're the reason people are coming. Like, they're playing. And it was funny, because, like, obviously we got to, like, you know, walk up to them and say hi, hellos and everything, and, like, a few of them were like, oh, yeah, heard you, like, saved the whole thing, so thanks for that. Like,
wow.
Yeah, exactly. It was really cool.
That's what. There are bands now. Oh god, I wish I knew the name of them, but like their promoters are booking arena tours and nobody's buying tickets. So because so few people are, they're canceling the whole tour.
Yeah, I just heard
a lot.
I just heard about one show that I can't remember who it was now, but I like literally just heard a story about this.
Yeah. It's that's why I like, you know, Lupo's like I think House of Blues in Boston is good. I know there's an MGM concert. I'm like that's there. I've gotten back into like so before COVID I went to some concerts, not a lot. But now that we have a daughter and I only have to buy one ticket, I'm going to a lot. So I went to Blink when they were in Boston, which was great. Blink 182, I've listened to them my whole life and I never got to see them because you know I was in an age range that shouldn't have been listening to them.
Oh yeah, that's
valid.
valid.
And then they broke up when I was old enough to be able to like purchase tickets. I think when I was in college they played, but I wasn't doing concerts then. And I didn't have, you know, money. And then when they got back together, I immediately bought a ticket. It was way too much.
It was House of Blues?
No, this was at TD Garden.
Okay.
And
that
then,
makes a lot more sense.
Now they're coming back and they're playing at Fenway. I don't want to go see them in Fenway, so I'm going to go see them in Connecticut.
That makes sense.
And then I had Miku, and then I just bought Porter Robinson is going to be at the MGM arena, which I've never been to.
Have you ever gone to the Palladium in Worcester?
The Palladium. I feel it. I know what you're talking.
I have a lot of good and bad memories in that building.
Oh my god, I've never been there, but that venue looks really cool. Why are there seats behind?
Yeah, it's a weird little place because there's like an upstairs and a downstairs, and like yeah, you know,
I've heard of it. The picture has Hollywood Undead, so I'm. How
Hollywood
old is this
Undead.
photo?
Jeez.
They. How old is this? I remember Hollywood Undead was playing at what is it, the Middle East,
Oh, I
right
love
before
the
they shut
Middle
down.
East. I haven't been there in so long. Oh, it's not even there anymore.
I think they're shutting down.
See, look, I leave for a few years, and all the good venues just get destroyed.
Yeah, I used to go there all the time.
I love them.
I saw Say When there, which was like way back when. I saw Mega Ran there, who was he's like a nerdcore rapper who goes to PAX, performs there. We actually had him. So Mega Ran, again, if you don't know his music, if you like Mega Man, he sampled the beats like way back when he first started to Mega
Yeah.
Man and like Street Fighter, and then like would rap over it about like the robot, and it was really good. And then Capcom found out, and instead of sending him like a cease and desist, they like was like, "Hey, do you want like the files?" And he's just like he's gotten like much bigger. It's great.
Yeah.
He had like other albums that like weren't just like video game related. He did one on Final Fantasy. He did one on wrestling. These all like slap. And then he wrote a book, like an autobiography. And when he was doing his like promotion, this was when we first started Three Dads. I think he was like one of our guests on like episode like 5 or 6.
No crap. That's awesome.
So we got to have him on, and it was really cool because I've been to like 4 or 5 of his shows. And he's always like down to like say hi and meet, talk to people, and like the fact that I'm like I listen to your music, I go to your stuff, and now you're like joining my, and we were just talking about music, talked
Right.
about some of his personal life in there, which was really interesting, and he's been through a lot, but it was so like cool to kind of like have like someone that you've kind of like enjoyed their content, be able to be
Yeah.
a part of yours.
That's amazing. So like, you've talked to them. You've talked to the Killer Clowns guy.
I,
Who's like the biggest fish? Like Real Big Fish was my biggest fish in
oh
music.
yeah,
Who's your real big fish?
we've had a lot of big like I would say like big creators on creator, like creators with like a lot of reach, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, but like I would say the biggest person we've had on is Pete Blackburn, who is co-founder now of What Chaos.
Right.
So Pete was like huge on like the sports world, especially in Boston. He worked for Bally's, and we talked to him again during COVID. It was interesting because he, like so many other people, got into gaming.
Hmm.
Sports gaming is kind of an easy pivot for people who are home, and not just sports, but like any. And he kind of started streaming. Now he's doing hockey content on his thing,
Right.
being on like Felger and Maz, and yeah, he was on, and it's because Pez had known him from doing Days of Yore, because that podcast that Pez used to host was big deal. Like, yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs, but it's really cool, and so he agreed to come on, and that was really neat. And he's continued crazy things. I would say he's I one of my obviously one of the top 2 hockey like podcasts out there right now. Like
Right.
it's like that and Chiclet. So it was cool that he joined us as well. But we also have like a lot of like smaller or like mid-sized like creators on as well, because I think it's cool to be able to share what people are doing, introduce them to our folks if we think they'll like them. We like to have them on, and it's a good mix of guests, especially when things are slow. So
Yeah.
because it's like we don't want it, like a lot of the gaming podcasts sometimes if there's no news it's like, what are we going to talk about? But now it's like we don't really do that anyway, so it's like, all right, like who are kind of like this, who are you, tell us about kind of the
Yeah.
creation you do. Like that's people like learning about other people, so I
Yeah.
guess that's why I was so hyped about when he started this as well.
Yeah. I like just the two biggest principles that I want here is just like being just like genuine conversation. Cause like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but I feel like
I am.
a big portion of content creation is wild, exaggerated, like you know what I mean, like big character, which is fine. But I want people to be able to like be themselves, relax, talk about like the goals, what they're doing, and then I just want to check in with people that I think are cool people and make sure they're doing okay. And
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I feel like when I'm on stream I'm very like it depends on the game. Franchise
fair.
mode, no. Cut, yes. Definitely a little more animated and stuff like this. So this is like a really cool change of pace. Be able to talk about stuff on like our podcast. I try to be kind of more high energy because I think all three of us kind of fill a different role, different personality, which is good because now you don't get like some homogenous voice.
Right. No, yeah, exactly. Balance, as all
Yeah.
things should be.
Okay, Thanos. Don't do it. But
Man.
uh, but yeah, and I'm trying to think of. Oh yeah, the other big thing that I've been doing, which again a lot of people look down on, and I talk about it a lot, is I do a lot of eBay. So
Wait, look down. What do
um
you mean look down on?
people don't like reselling people, like people who resell all the time, because they're like, oh, like you're buying this thing for cheap and selling it for more instead of somebody else. Like, yeah, well, that's commerce, man. But like, but
Are
yeah,
you like
so like,
scalping? Are you like I don't
I'm not going outside venues asking, selling tickets, like,
Yeah, yeah,
because they legally can't say like, are you buying? They have to be like, buying ticket, like,
yeah.
no. But I'm doing the next thing down.
Yeah.
So, but
It's
no,
so
I've always been somebody who has like known the value of things. I started with video games, like I would go on Craigslist and buy stuff and then be able to flip it, and that was kind of like my fun money, especially like after college when like my first job wasn't like super high paying, so like it was a great way to like augment.
yeah.
But my wife was older, so I had a sugar mama. It was great. Um, that's no longer the case.
That's no longer the case.
No, I even though I've paid that debt in full, I'm still paying for it. So,
So you're the sugar bringer now?
I'm not. I'm just
No.
I know I've two people in my life who get all my time and attention, but it's well worth it. But yeah, I started kind of like, getting more into it again when COVID happened. Um, I scrolled on TikTok because I wish I was a Zoomer or something, and I actually stumbled upon a lot of people who would go to yard sales and do this. So I kind of like worked my way in it a little bit. There's some thrift stores I started visiting, um, and stuff was just so cheap,
Yeah.
and like I never really got like clothes like secondhand either, and like other things. So I found myself kind of doing it too because I'm like I kind of like the reuse sustainability part of it. That's nice. It's not the
Right.
sole benefit or passion, reason behind it, I will be very honest. But I have a lot of clothes that I'm like, hey, I got to get collars. I got to go in the office now. Like instead of paying, $40 for one shirt, I'll just load up and get six. Um,
Yeah.
but also too, like I would go to yard sales for the first time ever, and people were basically just giving stuff away. And I like being able to make a deal and to negotiate and to talk to people and learn about things. And it was kind of a great way to like reintegrate into being social after everything was shut down. I started going to estate sales, which was way out of my comfort zone.
Oh, really?
And even it was because it's weird. It's not always I'm moving out or I'm downsizing. Some of it's they're trying to just get rid of everything because someone's left. So
Right.
it's I thought it was uncomfortable, but people were very nice. And happy to see their stuff go to a new home. I don't sell all of it. I keep a lot of it, and I take my daughter too, and she likes it. And the best part about it is we get to spend time together.
Right.
So like on the weekends, I'm waking up with her early anyway. So instead of just sitting on the couch all morning, we go out and we see people, and we do stuff, and I'll buy her stuff. People will just give. I have so much crap that people just give her, and she loves it, and it's great because she's also not one of those like kids who like, oh, I'm gonna play with something, I'm like put that down. It's like no, like she just doesn't do that. I mean, I get her stuff every now and then, and it's like cheap toys or whatever, but like it's a great way, and she knows I'm out there looking for stuff, and like people just don't understand the value of things, and I'm happy to kind of if something's worth more, I'll pay more. Um, and it's also cool to just learn about stuff like I the craziest thing I ever sold. I went to one of my first estate sales. It was an old New England farm barn that was haunted. There's a bunch of tools in the shed. I don't know anything about tools. There's a bunch of old ghost, whatever, like board games. All right, I don't know that. I go inside. Oh, there's some cheap jewelry. All right, I'm gonna put in a bag. I'm gonna keep moving around. I go up the stairs. It's a Ouija board. It's wood. So I'm like, all right, let me just grab this. Ouija boards do well around Halloween, fine,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I go to pay. There's a booth in front, and I'm like, how much for this? $1. Still got the receipt. I did research on this. I found out that this Ouija board was a first printing. So it is from the late 1800s.
Like this is like the original
This is
Ouija
this
board.
isn't. Yeah, it's not what you buy in Target.
This
It
one's
is
like
a piece of wood.
actually cursed.
Yeah. So for $1, I got a whole bunch of spooky ghosts too, which honestly is a bargain. But I didn't know. I want to verify what I had because, again, it's old. Like, it's not like I can be like, oh, like. So I
Right.
reached out to two people. One guy had a Ouija board museum in his house. Found him on Instagram. And another person I found on the website for Ouija enthusiasts or whatever. He's the world's foremost expert in Ouija boards. His name's Robert Munch. And both of them independently verified that this was a first printing. And they're
It's
happy to do it.
wild.
I'm like texting with him. I'm like, he's calling him. He's like, at the doctor. I'm like, oh, okay. So they one of them referred someone to me. It was way too low of an offer, which was fine. But I ended up selling it to someone for just over $1,000.
No way, that's awesome.
I know, for $1.
$999 profit.
So the fact that he's like, oh, do you have any history on? I'm like, yeah, New England barn. And I'm like, I can't tell you who it is, but two very important people in this community have both independently verified that this. I'm like, I can't say their names because I didn't pay them. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna have some basically get an appraisal for free if they didn't consent to it.
Right. That's
But yeah, that was
valid.
crazy. So yeah, Ouija. And the weirdest thing though, so I put it in a Christmas tree shop bag because it has. I thought it would have some saving properties based on the name. When I first got it, and then my daughter woke up the next day and apparently told my wife that she saw ghosts the night before.
Yeah, that's your fault.
So my daughter's not goofing on me, so I took that thing and put it in our storage unit. And it haunted them until I sold it, and now it's haunting that new person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Jacob Marley and the Ghost of Christmas Past are playing friggin' poker in that storage unit of yours right now.
The Christmas tree shop. But yeah, so once you especially when you get your first big hit like that, you're like, okay. Like now I'm in there like swimwear. And it's nice because now I have a goal.
Did you get to see the museum or whatever? The Ouija boards?
I didn't visit it, but I saw plenty of photos.
Yeah.
But I was sending plenty. It's such a cool I basically had a piece of history.
I would have been scared.
So I don't subscribe to that stuff, but I did by the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
But it's wild, stuff like that. Once you get that huge hit, then it's like, okay, now I'm in. You get in too deep, and now I do it for every weekend. I'm out there, and I can see stuff, and I know, you don't always have to look it up on your phone and stuff like that. I bought a Bose system for someone for $25. He wanted 30. I offered 20. He said 25. Of course, I sold it within 3 hours for 130.
That's awesome.
And it's like okay, that paid for my weekend. It's now what I'm doing with this is a few things. I have a separate retirement fund, which is going to beef it up because whatever. I'm old. This is the exciting thing that I think about. I'm going to start paying my daughter and opening up a savings account for her, like a high yield savings. So I'm paying her as employee. She doesn't know it yet. But the rest of it is just fun money. So last year I took my family to Disney. Took my daughter to Disney for the first time because of
With
this.
your dirty Ouija board money.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's funny, but it's just cool to have a goal like that. My daughter really, we wanted to take her, and because of me doing stuff like this, and it's essentially like a second job, I was able to do a trip, and I didn't have to worry about anything like the fast lanes or whatever. I remember going to Animal Kingdom and seeing the 40-minute line. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I just paid for the fast lane on my phone. And I just sold something the day before while at Disney, so I'm covered.
I don't know. You said this was low tier buffoonery, but it seems pretty valid to me. I don't know.
But I don't, so that's the goal, and we are going back this year. I had a very good month last month. So good that I was like, we're going. So it's just nice to have, I have a lot of fun things set aside. Again, it's an opportunity I know not everyone able to have, when I'm not talking to you or working my actual job that my community doesn't believe I have. I'm basically boxing up packages, listing stuff, taking pictures of stuff. pain, but I'm good at it.
Yeah,
And it's
I
fun.
unfortunately once upon a time was a filthy Funko Pop collector.
Ah,
Yeah,
you're why whatnot exists.
I know. And I stopped a while ago, and I sold a whole bunch to help afford the move back when that went down. And now, like, I don't want the rest because most of like my favorite ones are gone already anyway. And
Yeah.
like, I can't bring myself to like sit here like post them, box them, blah blah. Deal with someone who's worried about like the piece of dust that's in the box. Like you know what
Oh
I mean? Like so I've been like actively just looking for someone who just buys in bulk to be like, here, lowball me for this box.
I know a guy who will lowball you. No,
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, you are the guy.
Yeah, it's me. Hi.
It's you. Yeah.
I've had that, and it's fun because I'll have like friends like reach out to me and be like, "Hey, my friend, he just got a whole bunch of sealed video games. They're newer, and
Hmm.
he's like, can you price this out for me?" I'm like, yeah. Like, so I try to use my powers for good, but yeah, I don't know. Some people just don't want to go through the hassle, like you said, of doing that, and they're willing to just part with it. My biggest haul though, I got there's a GameCube, a bunch of like I would say high value GameCube games, like Smash Brothers, no Zeldas, but like I would say like higher value ones. And he sold them to me for like what is it, $40. And I'm like,
Hmm.
all right. I'm like, hey, what else do you have? And he brings all this stuff out: Xbox 360, a second GameCube in a box. Bought it for 60. I paid more than $100 total, and I think I've made like 1,200 on that $100. It's just crazy, and it's just people don't want to like. It's time. People don't like want to do that, and I respect that. Get it out of here. My wife was the same way. She's like, just get this crap out of here. And then I took her to Disney.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can keep this crap here.
You keep this piece. Yeah. This. I love this crap.
Yeah, pretty, pretty much.
My
But no, it's interesting, and it's I don't know. It's just it's always changing. So I usually have a new story every week.
Too bad you didn't know me before I moved to California because you might have been able to cash in on the gold mine my brother-in-law got.
Oh,
So I put all of my Magic the Gathering cards in a
that's right,
giant like Timberland like the boots box.
dude.
And
That's right now as a collector. That's like triggering. Where they weren't sleeved, right?
some probably were, some probably weren't.
Oh my god.
But and I was like, all right, I'm not taking these with me. Take it. And he's like, I can't take this. I was like, all right, $100, whole box. And
Great.
he's like, that's way not enough. I'm like, right, but you won't accept it as a gift, so $100 for the whole box.
Take it or leave it. 100 or
Right.
0.
Yeah. So, yep.
Yeah, it's yeah. I
And now I'm back and
sometimes
trying to get back into Magic, and I have no cards. And he's like, "Here's a bunch of the cards you need." I'm like, "Perfect." I'm seeing some of them. I'm seeing some of them again.
dude, I'll send you pictures of I found some Magic cards at a rummage sale that I need to send to you for see if your friends know, because I don't
Yeah,
know anything
one of
about
my
them.
buddies that I play with, like currently works at a card shop. So,
Oh, perfect. I think they're vintage.
mm,
Like I think some are. I like not like alpha. I don't even know if like I'm learning a little bit from another creator I watch.
right,
But like I don't think they're not like the high value, like what is it, power or whatever. But I think some there could be worth something. I mean,
right.
I'm
But like
willing to get
the
rid of
game's
them.
as old as I am, so like you never know.
Exactly. Who knows? I did one at a rummage sale that a different. Well, at that one I crushed it. At a different one though, I went to right to the DVDs, and they're selling video games for $1 piece. So I bought 13 of them for 15, and I'm gonna keep the change because God forbid, like whatever. Um, God forbid, it's a church. So there were some GameCube games, one cleaned up on them. There was one which I saw and I knew immediately: NCAA Football 14,
Oh my god.
and they wanted $1. And I gladly paid that. And like I also dropped like $20 at their bake sale. Like when I see, like when I know I'm getting a good deal, especially at like there's what is it, aging council thing. Like the deals are so good, I'll just like I'll basically tip them at the bake sale.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
when I saw it, I know Pez, my co-host, is obsessed with that game, so we worked out a deal that we both felt was fair. He definitely got mates rates. Um, and he's he's like, there's a clip on the show we'll have to clip, but it's funny because he's like, I want to do a good thing. I want to give you a good deal. And Court's like, you just didn't want to pay tax. And I'm like, I wanted to help out my friend. I was like, okay. But I'm glad it works. I was able to test it, and he actually got it graded.
Oh,
And so the case came back, I think, like a 9. The disc came back like a 6, but overall, I think it's graded an 8, which is very good for a game. We found, and the value is definitely more right now than what he
yeah,
paid me. So
yeah, that's amazing.
not bent about that, as though people think I am. I'm not.
People,
Um.
people are probably even more hyped about stuff like that right now with like the hype of like it coming back.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't. I cannot look at the. I'm gonna look at the price after. But yeah, that game, especially if the new one's not what people expect it to be.
That's what I'm thinking. That it's gonna be like the exact same like crap no one likes about all the other sports games, and everyone's gonna be like, ah, I wish I still had the old one, and yeah.
I'm doing the thing I said I wouldn't do and look.
So I actually saw Pez like quote tweet someone saying no mascot mode is a shame, and Pez was like, no, it's not, it's stupid anyway, and that hit me really hard because I love mascot mode.
Yeah, he's a huge fan.
Oh
I'm
man.
excited for that game. I'll definitely be covering it because EA games. But yeah, like I said, interesting opportunities.
Me
Some fun to get.
and an old friend of mine back in the day used to pick a random college and change because no one had a name, so we would just change all the names to people we knew, and
Oh, that's the
then
best.
like which was already fun on its own because like we would just think of like a band of like kids we knew and there was like, oh, there's 5 of them, that's the offensive line, and like just like we would way too much thought into it, but you could like import the draft class into like the Madden. So then we would
Oh,
go to Madden, pick like a team, try to trade for as many picks as we could, and try to draft as many of us as we could.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
On the
yeah,
same team.
yeah. It was, we had a lot of fun with it.
I remember my buddy built our high school football team in NCAA and would like play through the whole season. It was just, I don't know. It was a good game. So I'm hoping this one holds up. People are very hopeful about it. A lot of nostalgia.
Yeah, I watch about zero college ball, but I'm very fun, very excited for the video game though.
Oh yeah, I don't watch any college football. I'll bet on it, but I don't watch it.
Are
And
you, you do good with the sports betting or
I'm not good with it
no?
anymore. I
No.
had a little bit of a down streak. I'm still no additional investment, but I've taken a quick step back.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I follow people who use algorithms. That's it. I don't like decide for myself. I basically say like, you're the expert. You're putting these bets out. You do it. I don't pay for them. They're all
Yeah.
free.
I I did pretty well the year that Golden State. It was the Celtics, right? It was Golden State in Boston, I
Yep.
think. Because like they have like the player props that are like points, rebounds, and assists,
Yep.
and for whatever reason, Derek White and Jordan Poole's numbers were both always so low. I'm like, have they not learned yet? I'm just gonna keep doing it until it doesn't work. And I just wrote it
Free
all the
money.
way. I just wrote it all the way through the finals too.
Infinite money glitch.
But I mean, I'm a Spurs fan, so like I knew Derek White was like capable. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You're the scoop.
yeah, exactly. The insider's knowledge of Derek White.
Oh,
I
yeah. It's
my hair is pretty naturally curly. So when I first started getting a little longer, I had like one of those headbands, kind of like he wore, and like I I called it like my Derek White headband because like my curls would like fly out the back and everything.
that's wild that you were a Derek White like stan before anybody here even knew him.
Oh yeah, just because I'm so like. You know I'm a Capitals fan because of Ovechkin. Like I'm a
Yep.
Spurs fan because of Duncan and Manu, like the same way. And like I've just been like extremely lucky that like the 3 random ass athletes I fell in love with just all played for one team their whole career. You know what I mean? Like, and it's
And I'm
like,
like they're 90.
and it's like part of the reason I can never like fully commit to like baseball because it's such a revolving door, and I'm like, I hate this. I want to like see like the same dude like spend their life somewhere like I did with my other 3 favorite athletes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It's crazy. Like even I mean, well, they are getting these crazy contracts. I mean, depends on who you pick, and usually they play for LA, so or New York, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to, player with staying power, don't pick the Red Sox because it's like they're trying to. I literally don't know who half the people are. Like watching the game, live, but
Mm.
who knows?
Yeah,
Gotta
I
stick to
mean,
hockey.
I feel like if the Spurs didn't win the lottery when they did, they were getting into that territory of like, I don't even know who these people are anymore. But now
Mm.
that there's like a plan in front of me, I'm like, ah,
Wemby,
dude,
that dude's so tall.
freaking amazing.
Must be nice to get a nice draft pick like that and actually be able to use it on something good. Couldn't beat Boston sports.
There's like that video of like when the Rockets fans like found out they were gonna pick like fourth or whatever, and they're all like, all right, just as long as it's not the Spurs, as long as it's not the Spurs, and then when they announced it, they all just like lose their minds. Oh my god. I like every time I come across it, I'm like, yep, this never gets old.
Yeah, get rocked. That's how I feel anytime I watch a video of Leaf Square being sad on during a playoff run.
Oh my god. Remember
Yeah.
you must when it was like the Vancouver Boston I still don't even know who the guy is, but I was in a band at the time, the one that opened for a real big fish called Shorthanded Goal. And they were all Boston fans except for me, obviously. And when they released the album, it was like right around the time I joined. So I wasn't even like really on it. So, but they just like threw my name on it anyway because I was there. But one of the songs started with like this like dude from the internet that was like harassing the fans basically. It was like, oh hey, Game 7, you think it's gonna be a good violent riot or a bad violent riot? And he goes, well, hopefully a good one. Like that's how like the thing started.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know there's a drop with like, get the duck boats ready.
Yeah, so that was the how the CD started. Like as the intro was playing, that was going.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That's actually I got into hockey. My wife introduced me around like 2009, 2010. So when they won, she's like, I just want you to know this isn't always how it is. And because it was like my third, maybe second or third year actually being invested in the sport. But
Just want you to know this isn't always how it is.
yeah. Now I'm not really a Celtic. I mean, I don't really watch basketball, but I'm on the bandwagon, and anyone who says I'm a fraud is right. I don't need you to tell me that. But if they win, I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna say, yeah, we won. I haven't watched
Yeah.
a minute all year, but we won.
That's
We get wrecked.
that's kind of how it was like when the Nationals won the World Series, because like I was like freshly in California and like had no one to like you know what I mean. Like after work, I went home and like
Yeah.
waited for work the next day because I didn't like know anyone yet. So like I started watching those playoffs and I'm like, well, I like watching everything else. Let's see what they get. And they went the whole thing.
And that at least makes sense because you're a Cavs fan, so and
Yeah,
you watched the games.
but then everybody left, and I was like, "Well, this sucks." And I went back to not watching baseball.
That's
I
fair. I mean,
wear I wear a lot of Yankee stuff, and like enjoy Yankee success because both of my grandfathers are Yankee fans.
Okay.
So it's more of like just because like for them thing than me actually like investing. But now that like Soto's there, I'm kind of like, okay, this is my Yankee era.
I mean, the Boston teams kind of. I mean, Red Sox and Celtics are great. I mean, no, Bruins and Celtics. Red Sox have been kind of. But watching a game live is fun. At least, and the Patriots. I haven't watched football because I'm so like this team blows, and I don't want like people. Oh, you're not a real fan. I don't. Why would I want to watch the worst thing you could watch? Just a team losing over and over, and at least now we have a glimmer of hope. And when eventually that glimmer of hope is snuffed out because he's not good and it was the wrong pick, I don't know if it is. I hope not. I'm gonna go back to not watching, and that's okay.
I like struggle to watch football because just like the flow gets so choppy because of like the millions of whistles and flags.
Yep.
And like anytime something cool happens, they make sure to slow it down frame by frame until they can prove it doesn't count.
Yep.
And I'm like, why are you actively trying to make the game less exciting? I don't get it.
Yeah. Now if you hit someone, it's a penalty. It makes no sense.
Not even just that, but someone makes this like amazing catch and like let's just slow it down until we can prove it didn't. Like, why?
Yeah.
If you have to slow it down to like you gotta be the Flash to understand what's going on, you should probably just count.
Yeah, replay can hurt the sport. I think you're seeing it a lot with hockey too when it comes to like offsides, where it's like someone was offsides on the zone entry, and
Oh
then
yeah,
like
because like
minutes
their
pass.
skate was like a little bit off the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and then like 3 minutes
awful.
pass and a goal happens, but you can call it back, and it's like that zone entry didn't even impact
Mm,
like the result in play. Like, why don't your people just play better defense? Just don't
yeah.
let in a goal. Forehead. Like, what are you guys talking about?
I
But
feel
that's how
like,
it is.
and I know like most people wouldn't agree with me, but like I feel like refereeing and like officiating sports should be more subjective, not less. Because I feel like the ref should be able to look at that and be like, okay, well, yeah, by the letter of the rule, I guess like his skate was like a centimeter off sides, but like, who cares? Like, it didn't,
Yeah.
like, this isn't the reason they scored on you. We're gonna keep playing. Or like, oh yeah, I guess there was holding on this play on the other side of the field from where you ran with the ball, so we're probably just gonna let that go. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense. There's no context.
Mhm.
And then you get bozos like newly retired Angel Hernandez. The only reason I know his name because this dude literally just goes out there and guesses for his job. Like, he doesn't even know what a ball or strike is. He just knows he's supposed to say one of the two after every pitch.
I just watched like a freaking TikTok of like the ball gets hit in the outfield and it just falls between the two guys, but because like Angel Hernandez called out by mistake, the guy at second stopped running and started going back to second and got tagged out because of it.
Oh
And
my
like
gosh, this dude is so
you
bad.
can see him telling the umpires like, I think this is my fault.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
like pitches right down the strike zone. Ball. What are you talking about?
I was just I was just telling, and I guess like recently there was that other thing was like the infield fly, but then like they just decided the guy
Yeah,
was too close and they just ended the game.
yeah, he didn't even see. Yeah, against the White Sox.
I
It's like these people, like they're gonna like get replaced. Like, they can automate the rules of baseball. It's not challenging.
yeah,
You can see where the ball crosses up. We see it on TV. Just have somebody in a booth watch that and write down a little tick mark every time. You don't need the people.
I was telling my boss like the reason I could have never made it as like a pro athlete, other than the fact that I never tried very hard to be athletic, is like I just wouldn't accept these bad calls. Like I would just sit at second and they'd be like trotting out like the other offense. I'd be like, no, no, I'm safe. I'm staying here.
There have been people who throw kind of fits like
Like
that,
no,
but they
no,
take
like
the
I'm
base.
not moving. I'm on second. Like
Yeah.
no, no, take it back. That's
People will take the base and get thrown out and just take the base with them down the dugout.
or if I was like a football coach and like the spots like egregious, I would just and they're like, oh yeah, turnover on downs. Like no, that's bullshit. I would just keep my offense on the field. Like no, you guys stay there. Like we're on offense. You guys stay right there.
You'd make a good hockey coach.
I'd be...
I remember someone Tortorella was getting tossed and he goes, "No, like no, the f I'm not. Like I'm staying right here." And they like find him, and he's like, "Okay, like I have money, find me." Like, what do I? There's someone I think was it God, who got Truba got fined 5,000. His coach is like, "Yeah, it's gonna be really hard on him. I mean, I don't even know how he's gonna eat this week." Like, they're such trolls. So I think you'd make a good hockey coach with that attitude.
Yeah, it's like especially with all this like goalie interference nonsense.
Oh God, yeah, tell me about it.
I
Bruins
think
game.
I
Ugh.
legitimately think that might be the most incorrectly officiated call in all of sports currently. Like I know
The
like the NFL is having a hard time figuring out what like catching looks like, which is weird because that's like their big thing. But goal interference is getting up there with like I don't think they know anymore.
no, the one against the Bruins was a 2-goal swing because you had the interference that resulted in a goal. And I
Mm,
understand the perspective of why, but I still think that it was impacted enough. And then because they challenged it and lost, they got a penalty against them, which was then scored. So it was a 2-goal swing.
right.
So they lost that game. And again, Florida's a better team. Like, who are we kidding? Like, it wasn't like, oh man, like if they just had one more chance. But like, then there was another game that a call for goal interference with the Bruins way, and it was like, this is obviously a makeup call because both are wrong.
Right.
Like there were like it's wild. But it didn't even impact that game because they lost it anyway, and then they lost the series. So whatever. Even with the calls, it doesn't matter. Florida was better. But
at the end of the day, the player's still gonna do the puck thing.
that's right.
My the guitar player in that band I was in would like be the funniest person to like watch the game with, because like he would just sit there and be like, guys, puck, net, puck, net.
Oh,
Like, oh yeah. And I was like, are you sure you don't watch basketball? He goes, no, I hate that shit. I'm like, all right, because I can picture you going ball, hoop, ball.
Now it's player, come near, dive back,
Oh yeah,
hold knee.
hold knee.
It's unreal. I don't know. I don't know. Basketball players are incredibly athletic, and then you don't need to dive. You're good enough with your own skill to not have to do that. It's not soccer, but
It's not soccer.
what do I know? At least American soccer. I don't know. What do
Yeah,
I know?
I don't know. It's funny because like basketball probably was my favorite sport once upon a time, and part of that might have been like the success of like my favorite players, but like watching those teams and how it was all such like fundamentally clean, like pass the ball, like play the team defense, like, and now watching this is like it's brutal. It's like this is not the game I loved like when I was in high school. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like a lot of I know the Celtics players, and like it's weird, like because the people who I used to know are now old or retired. Obviously,
right?
that's how it goes. But I'm teaching my daughter who the truth is, Paul Pierce.
Oh yeah,
So we were testing like and like one of the old Xboxes, NBA Live '05 or something, and she's like, "Oh, who's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's the truth." She's like, "The truth?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can you give the ball to the truth?" Yeah,
of course.
truth always scores.
The
So
best era of Celtics basketball, as far as I'm concerned, was Walter McCarty, and like the commentator would be like, "I love Walter," and him doing like the simplest friggin' basketball shit.
there's some wild players. I'm trying to think of the name. I, like I no. There's one person. God, do you get in legal trouble after? What's his name? I don't know. But
In legal trouble.
Not Walter McCarthy. There's someone else.
Walter, I love Walter.
No, that was Big Baby. He got in trouble, I thought.
Oh yeah, he like just like straight up like pushed that kid that one time after they won the game.
Yeah.
Just like
That's it. But those were the good days.
those were the days.
Those are the days. I wish you knew the good days before they're gone.
Oh yeah, I know. Like I'm trying so hard not to become one of those old men that are like, this isn't like back in my day. They played the sport, but man,
Dude,
I actually feel that way.
I was talking about baseball at Peasant Court, and I made an Orlando Cabrera reference. That man hasn't played baseball in like 20 years. Like I'm like that's like where my head is when it comes to like Red Sox baseball. Like it's stuck in this moment of time like 20 years ago because I haven't watched it as much recently, and like I'm stuck like talking about players that just don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Like or that people even thinking about.
Orlando Cabrera. You know who I like think of randomly all the time with baseball was Ivan Rodriguez, and like the friggin' play at the plate in that friggin' playoff game when he's like losing his friggin' mind as he gets up, like, I have the ball! I have the ball! What a moment in time.
Back when you could railroad the catcher.
Yeah. And it was only so great because like in back-to-back innings, like the Florida player like mauled the other guy so hard he lost the ball, and that's why like when he got up he was like, I have it, dumbass!
Like,
you dropped it, but I have it! Yeah.
Oh.
God. Who would have thought that even baseball could make me think of a time when it wasn't so soft?
I believe it or not, but that's where we are now. But yeah. That's all I got.
So you got yeah, I feel that. All right. So we're not going to go 2 hours like the other guys did.
Oh,
Um,
I can't talk for that long,
no,
but I would be open to coming back and hanging out again.
oh,
We'll break it up
absolutely,
into segments.
absolutely. Is there anything? And I'm gonna ask everybody this, whether you talk 2 hours or not. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you feel like you have to say, or need to say, or want to say, or
No, I
are
just
you
appreciate.
satisfied
Oh,
with
yeah,
what you put out here today?
this was fun, just being able to talk and hang out and, you know, hopefully people who listen to this had fun.
Yeah.
Um, if you wanna hang out with me when I'm not hanging out here, you can find me at WabbaPlays on Twitter. I'm usually talking about, like, bottom 6 forwards on the Bruins and tweeting out about the birthday parties I have to go to for my daughter's friends and how much pizza I eat.
Brad.
And like I mentioned, Three Dads and a Console. It's a venture I'm very proud of. I'm kind of out of individual, I still do individual content creation, but Three Dads and a Console, 3dadsconsole.com. We have a website. It's fun. Talk about all different types of games. If you got kids, you might appreciate some of the things we're doing.
I
And
tried
then,
really hard to like
yeah,
keep myself to like family oriented language, and then I just lost it at the end.
don't worry. No one's gonna listen to this with their kids. Don't
Right on,
worry.
right on, right on. But because you
But
do like family stuff,
yeah,
I try to like hold myself to that standard, and just
match the energy.
the the longer I went, just the looser the filter got.
Just troll gamer words by hour two. No, it's totally fine. And yeah, if you can hang out with me and Meowth in September when we do our quest to defy cancer. So stay tuned
Yes.
for that. We'll have more on that. We've had really cool like prizes recently. I remember like was it 2 years ago? Hike Shadow hooked us up with some stuff from the Massachusetts Pirates because he worked with them. So hopefully we'll get some fun stuff this year. Pez had reached out and got like a Pavel Zacha signed puck
That's
from the
awesome.
Bruins. And it's pretty cool. Again, we have been the top team the past 2 years. I attribute a lot of it to Pez, but also too like Ride or Die like crushed it last year, and Endless Days was like after the event, he was still getting donations, like lot of. So yeah, we're a good team. So check us
Yeah,
out, and
I'm
even
the
if we
KD
just
of
hang
this
out, it's
team.
good.
I'm just joining the basically undefeated team and taking all the credit.
Well, it's good, and it doesn't matter how much like, but like if you can, you're just if you can come check us out, like definitely do. Maybe we can do a another episode closer to then to talk more
Yeah,
about
oh
it.
yeah,
But
for sure.
Dana Farber is an excellent organization, and it's it's something we've been proud of. So I'm glad you're joining. I'm very excited for
Oh
you to be a
yeah,
part of it.
I'm
And there's going to be an event soon in Boston. I'll tell you more about,
right.
so you get to meet them more of the staff and people, and also drinks. You're like, why didn't you say so?
Damn, being good for the soul in multiple ways.
Yeah, I drink like 2 to 3 times a year, and one of the times is
Yeah, I almost never drink anymore, to
it's
be honest.
yeah, but one of the times is at this event just because it's a fun time. I get to hang out with people I like, so and support a good cause. So
Awesome, man.
I'll tell you more about that after. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you very much, guys, for listening to me, and thank you
yeah.
for having me.
Oh
I
yeah.
love this project. I hope you get some other fun guests on, and I hope people enjoy hearing about their stories because I've enjoyed it a lot so far, even when you stream accidentally under Backyard Baseball.
I mean,
You crushed that
this isn't
directory.
quite my backyard, but
You're the top of that
if I
directory. Not
activated
even.
this green screen, I could be in the backyard. It's mainly just here to like hide the stuff that's in this room.
Yeah, the Discord has like a green screen. You can just do that. Like that's what I'm using. I'm not spoilers. I'm sorry to ruin the magic. I'm not in like a mad scientist control center. I'm sorry for those. You can see my treadmill.
So
Like it's. I'm sorry.
this like little
There's my
room I'm
punching
in
bag.
used to be like a salon area that my sister used once upon a time before she had an actual salon to work in. So now I've commandeered it and put a desk and computer in it, and it's basically just hiding like a sink and all the other like salons. So that's my peel behind the curtain.
I'm just do this. We have the technology.
Yeah, but I got this for cheap.
That's like me. It's like I have a solution to the problem, but I have something I got and I have to use it. I respect that.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, when I first got it, I was like, I'm gonna use this, and then like I never like took anything serious enough to use it. So now I'm like, well, at least if nothing else, there's no sink behind me.
Fair. I respect that. But yeah, appreciate you having me
Yeah,
on.
man. I appreciate you encouraging me to do this and coming on, and I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
So I have been What That Meow with You, aka Big Brother Mana. That has been WabbaPlays, and we're gonna keep being those people, but we're gonna do it somewhere else.